welcome back to All Aussie Adventures. This week we're joined by two special guests. Good old Davo Attenborough and our Aussie legend Steve Irwin.
Endotherms are organisms which use heat generated by their metabolisms to maintain their body temperature. Their core temperature tends to stay steady regardless of their environment. Homeostasis is the process by which organisms regulate their internal environment to be stable, to optimize metabolic cell activity. Homeostasis works off a negative feedback loop where the body first detects the change from the required state and then works to counteract that change, bringing it back to optimum conditions. Enzymes work best at optimum conditions of temperature, pH and concentration. In endotherms, these temperature ranges are much narrower than in ectotherms. This is why they need to constantly regulate their internal environment using their metabolic function.
There you have it, folks. Our classic Australian endotherms, the emu here, can live in pairs or alone or in groups. They mostly feed at night or during the day, whatever they feel like. You see our old mate Eddie over here has many physiological adaptations that allow him to escape the heat in the hot summer months of the Australian outback.
Just because the emus can't fly doesn't mean their feathers aren't useless, does it now, Eddie? You use your feathers as a little fan to cool down your body on a hot day.
During winter, the emu fluffs his inner layer of feathers up, trapping a warm layer of air close to the skin, preventing any cold air exposing to the sensitive parts. The emu, he has a thick layer of waterproof feathers. These feathers, in the winter months, turn a black colour and they absorb heat from the sun.
Man, I'd love to have what the emus have, and that is an insulator on the inside of their feathers that can either keep them warm or cool during the hot or cold months.
That's right, mate. These feathers, in the summer month, work completely in reverse to what they do in the winter. Rather than trapping warm air close to the body, they trap cold air, allowing the emu to stay active even during the hottest parts of the day.
The boys aren't wrong here, but it's so much more than that. When it's cold, and the metabolism of endotherm increases, increasing the amount of heat generated from within the body. It is this reason, of course, that endotherms tend to have higher metabolic rates when they burn food in order to maintain a constant internal temperature. We must also remember that the legs of the emu is the most exposed part to the cold air. When it is cold, Eddie will sit down to reduce heat loss from the legs.
Let's not forget about our second Aussie icon.
After Steve Irwin, of course.
Our lovely Skippy the kangaroo, and so I guess it's time to hit the road. Just go around. Kangaroos, much like the emu, uses their fur rather than feathers to insulate their skin. They trap warm air close to their surface to keep them warm snug at night.
In the warmer months, the kangaroo naturally has a very slow metabolism which assists with heat loss in the warmer climates. They will also pant, the evaporation from their mouths, cooling the body. Vasoconstriction and vasodilation is also used by the kangaroo. Vasoconstriction is the process where blood vessels are contracted, bringing blood flow away from the epidermis and hence preserving heat. Vasodilation is the opposite, where the vessels are dilated and heat from the blood is allowed to escape through the skin.
Whoa, 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 whoa! Crikey! What do we have here? Stealthy, Queen, stealthy.
The saltwater croc that we recently just captured here is an ectotherm. You ask what an ectotherm is? Let's pass over to Davo.
Ectotherms are organisms which rely on external heat sources to regulate their body temperature. Since they rely on the ambient temperature, their core temperature will fluctuate in conjunction with their surroundings. Ectotherms do produce heat through their metabolism, however they cannot sustain it to maintain a specific temperature. Instead, they rely on behavioural adaptations to warm or cool themselves depending on their external environment.
A saltwater croc here will utilise things like this to cool off in the hot summer months.
That's right, Coit. And when they lie in this salt water, they open their mouths and expose these small, sensitive flaps inside their mouth. When evaporation occurs, it cools the flaps from the inside out. In the winter, when it gets cold, just like other ectotherms, crocodiles seek sun as an external heater. Most likely, they move to the black mud areas, which absorb heat from the sunlight. When the croc lays on this mud, not only are they exposed fully to the sun and absorb heat via solar radiation, he also absorbs heat via conduction, coming from the bottom up from the mud.
It's truly amazing to see what you find when you park your car out in the outback. Snakes are usually found bathing on rocks to absorb the solar radiation that is kept within them. This helps them warm their body up during the cold winter months. Just like crocs, snakes use warm surfaces to heat their body. In this case, it's a rock. Snakes here don't only do this in summer, but also in winter, due to the dark surface of the rock being the warmest place.